guys, so I decided to have a little bit of fun because I saw that this deck actually topped something recently. I can't remember what it topped, don't really care. It just gave me an excuse to build this, and I remember flicking through my phone and thinking, yes, just yes, we've got to play this. So, for those of you who have just stumbled across this and don't actually know what this deck is, Weather Painter is a really weird deck, where the spells and traps give the monsters effects, so... Well, they give the monsters that are in front of it and to the adjacent, so to the left and right, zones, abilities, depending on which ones they are. They all have the thing where it locks you into, you can't do a specific thing because of it, so like, one of them searches, so you can't search for the rest of the turn. One of them specials from deck, so you can't special from deck for the rest of the turn. But even so, it's one of those fun decks where it's great to play because your opponent has no idea what you're doing. Because number one, Weather Painters has not been played since the True Draco version of this, which is kind of not as good anymore. Something about Diagram being banned, but can't really speak on that one. And then they got the new field spell, and they were still terrible. But then, with enough persistence, I actually made this work. Still terrible, still tier 2, but it's still fun, and that's all that matters. The ability to be able to activate D-Shifter and then draw into Dimensional Fissure is amazing. Or in my case, Pot of Prosperity and reveal it, and the opponent scoops as soon as they see it. Well, that's just for me personally. So, this build's actually built from when tier was sort of a thing. Not when Shizu tier came out, but when tier was still good. Okay, still the best deck before. But still, drawing stuff that say you can't use your graveyard is kind of important against them. So, pushing that to one side, we're going to get into the deck profile. So we play the one Druis Worm and the two Magnemats. So the reason why we play this is because it's better DD Pro. There's literally it. And it does lead to some sort of funny things where if you open multiple D-Shifters, you can D-Shifter your opponent, then Magnemat the D-Shifter, so then you can D-Shifter them again. So that's just amazing. Then we have the 3 D-Shifter because you don't want your opponent to have grave. Ever. Then we have the one Aurora. So Aurora has the ability of placing a Weather Painter in your spell and trap card zone. Your opponent can't target them or destroy them with card effects, so free protection, and then once per turn, and then it has the standard effect of all the Weather Painters. If it was banished by the effect of a Weather Painter, you can summon it back. All the Weather Painter monsters have that effect, so I'm not going to go over it repeatedly, I'm just going to go over the separate other effects. So then we have Cloud. Cloud has the ability to send, when it's summoned, you can target 2 Weather Painters in your spell trap card zone. I mean, you can target 2 Weather Painters in your graveyard and put them into your spell trap card zone, so you get to have some free stuff there. You've got to be careful which zones you put them in, because obviously overlapping zones gives Weather Painters multiple effects. However, you've got to be careful where you summon them, because there's one of the decks where the zones do matter. Then there is Snow. Snow puts 1 from your deck to your spell and trap card zone, so it just literally starts your plays. It's amazing. If it gets ashed, it's a sad time. However, there are ways around it. So if you activate one of your spell Weather Painters in your spell trap card zone, and then you normal this and your opponent tries to, well, not ash it, but Infernal Veiler it, you just dodge it. Because it banishes costs, so it's amazing. Then we have the Thunder Canvas, and Thunder basically changes out one of your Weather Painters, for another one in your deck it sends one to the graveyard to place one from your deck in spell and trap card zone. So pretty decent. That's why it's a 3. Then we have the 3-dimensional fissure. You draw this, you win against most decks. Obviously, our deck can't make a Rise of Heart, so Rise of Heart 2.0 is actually good. And there's the 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, the 2 the 2 maps, basically. The reason why we play this is because Snow has 0 attacks, so you just search for the Snow and that's what it plays. It's a quicker way into it, so it's not the worst card. It's not amazing, but yeah, it'll do. 3 Prosperity, it is a bit of a gamble when you're going up against the top sort of decks, but revealing a D-Shifter with a, well, not really revealing a D-Shifter, revealing a Dimension Fissure or just your engine is just great. The 1 Terraforming and the 2 Field Spell, the reason why we do this ratio is because 3 Field Spell is absolute garbage. You don't want to draw multiples of this. However, drawing the Terraforming and then the Field Spell is not so bad because you have a deck thing before that. But the Field Spell is a custom card at its finest. So one of its effects is you can use the Weather Painter spells and traps as link materials to summon the Weather Painter link monster. It gives you an additional summon of a Weather Painter, and then when it's also activated, it puts a Weather Painter card from your deck into your spell and trap card set. This card is amazing, and I can't reiterate that even more. The links were okay, but now that I can use my spells and traps to get them, this means that I summon a cloud, put 2 things in my spell and trap cards on, then I have instant access to my links. Without a question. The links are kind of terrible though, but this card is still amazing. Then we have the Rainy Canvas. Rainy Canvas it returns back row to hand. It's kind of terrible. Really terrible, actually. But you still play it because it's still good, because it doesn't destroy the back row, but it means that it's not a problem. So, yes, it's kind of good. No, it's kind of terrible, but it's not really up to me, sort of thing. It works when it works, and it doesn't when it doesn't. And then we have the Snowy Canvas. The Snowy Canvas lets you search for any Weather Painter card, but you can't search for the rest of the turn, so you've got to be kind of careful with this. Because obviously some things do sort of overlap, and you kind of forget, because the reason why all the Weather Painters have these sorts of effects is because obviously they give the monsters the effects. So imagine normaling a snow, putting this into your spell trap cards on, searching for any card in your deck, activate the field spell, normal again, search for any card in your deck. That's why it had this restriction. Then we have the 3 skill drain. The reason why is because all the Weather Painters banish for cost. That's it. They just banish for cost, so it doesn't affect you, and it affects your opponent all the time. Then we have the 2 Rainbow Canvas. This literally just says banish a Weather Painter to someone from deck, and then obviously the Weather Painter comes back during the end phase, so it's your free extender. And then the Thunder Canvas. This is Neospatial Grand Mole. This is amazing when you flip this up and your opponent doesn't read what it does, because for some reason they always think that the Weather Painters are just affecting the one card that's in front, and they keep ramming themselves into my monsters, and they wonder why their field keeps disappearing. And then 3 Torrential Tribute is because some of the canvases are actually kind of really good. So you can tap monsters, so you can Torrential and then tap your monsters out for Snowy Canvas or Rainbow Canvas, so then you're not losing as much, so it's really kind of good there. And then for the extra deck, we have the Ultimate Slayer Target, a Zeus, an Acid Golem. The Acid Golem is just for extra damage. It's not used as often, but there is way to out it, such as TT. The Fortune Tune, this is used to make the Zeus. The Break Sword, this is also a very good card for popping stuff and then turning it into a Zeus. The Zen Mains, because it turns itself into Zeus. Basically, all the Exceeds turn themselves into Zeus at some point, except for the Golem. That's just there for the damage output. Then we have the 1 access code target. You will very rarely make this. Another Ultimate Slayer Target, a Nightmare Unicorn, a Line of the Light Charm, because they're all lights. I contemplate putting the Wind Charmer in or the Dark Charmer, but it's very rare that you'll link into that. You kind of want the Wind or the Dark on the field still. Then we have the Rainbow, which is one of the new ones that came out. So you can tribute. So if this card's link summoned, you can special summon one of your banished Weather Painters. Very rarely kind of comes up because they're coming back anyways. And if it's destroyed, you can summon 1 Rainbow from your deck, which this one's Rainbow Canvas. It's not as good. And then its final effect is you can banish this card to then target 1 monster your opponent controls, banish it until the next standby phase. Still, it's kind of better than Rainbow, it's kind of worse. Rather just not use the links 9 times out of 10. And then the Rainbow Canvas is the older one, which was terrible, but now the field spell's out. It's amazing. Kind of. When your opponent would special summon a monster, you can send this link card to the graveyard to negate the activation and destroy it. Once per turn during the standby phase, after this card is banished by the effect of a Weather Painter, you can summon it back. And then when a card or effect is activated, you can banish this card to negate the activation if you do destroy it. So it's good negation. However, it's kind of only really used for its stats. But stats don't really matter in Weather Painter because the trap that turns everything into Grand Mole is amazing. And then we have finally the 1 Underworld Goddess, because Underworld Goddess, I want an out to access code and unkillable monsters. For the side, there's the 1 Pancratops and then the 1 Live Twin Kiss Kill. This is for the Ultimate Slayer Target. The double Nibiru, I'm kind of trying to play loads of 2-ofs in here so then I can play multiple things at the same time. Necro Valley, amazing. Again, amazing. Can't reiterate how good this card is. The double Twin Twisters, because it does get to a point where you just kind of have dead canvases and get them back very easily. Ultimate Slayer, because just amazing. 2D Barrier, because it only really works if I go first. If I don't draw it in literally my opening hand, it's kind of terrible. And then the triple Evenly. We're playing the Evenly over the Lightning Storm because we end up with stuff face up in our smart card cards all the time. So Evenly is just kind of good over it. Fair enough, it can have the same sort of argument, but I'd rather have stuff banished face down, so yeah. But anyways, this is kind of Weather Painter. It does half good, half bad. I would say it's a decent tier 2 deck on a good day. But you kind of got to plan out for every sort of circumstance under the sun. Part of me thinks that the Drew Swarms and the Magma should come out so that we just play Triple Nib in the main, just to out everything, because we can just tag out our stuff during our turn. But besides that, it should be fine. Anyways, thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll be signing you out. Peace.